coming against the Freedom Caucus, which Donald Trump is doing, and he continues to play these cards in tweets, blaming the Freedom Caucus for the non-passage of Trump Care is not a smart move. And even Sean Hannity last night came out and said, not smart.
Laura Ingraham, too.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen them contradict him on anything.
No.
So
what are they thinking? Well, they're thinking Steve Bannon. I don't think this is Donald Trump. This is Steve Bannon that is steering this one. Steve Bannon thinks that von Mises and limited government is all, excuse the term, mental masturbation. He believes that there's no depth to any of that. Well, I happen to think that von Mises is about as deep as you can get, and that limited government and our founding documents are about as deep as you can get. These weren't guys who, I mean, you know what really bothers me about all of this is here we are talking about what is the new plan for America? What is the new system for America? These guys were deep scholars, and they studied and argued about every fallen empire, every system of government they went through, and they studied, and then they made a list. All the good things, all the bad things. How did it end? All the good things, all the bad things. How did that one end? Let's look at this one. How the good things, the bad things, how did that end? Then they found, and they layered them on top of each other and said, wait a minute, the good ones lasted longer because of these ideas. The bad ones failed because of these ideas. So let's make sure we include these and none of those. It wasn't just, hey, tweet 144 characters, or even better, von Mises bad, spending good. And that's where we're at. Are you telling me, Joe, we have to spend money to make money? Well, yeah,
that's what I'm telling you.
That's what I'm telling you. We've got to double the debt to be able to get out of debt. Really? That's the kind of thinking we're going for? Stimulus, good. Von Mises, shallow. Oh, okay. So he's taking on the Freedom Caucus, and Donald Trump said, we have to defeat those guys, and we have to defeat the Democrats in 2018. So the White House is now saying they're going after the Freedom Caucus and the Tea Party, which shouldn't be a surprise because that's what Donald Trump was doing before he ran for president. In 2012, that's where he was spending his money. In 2010, while we were all marching for small government, he was funding the people who stood against the Tea Party. So Bannon has a captive audience and a willing participant to go down that road to destroy the real conservatives, the constitutionalists in the House and the Senate.
Most people agree that Donald Trump is not conservative. And beyond that, he has always seemed to have some animosity toward conservatives. And that's what's coming out now with the Freedom Caucus. He doesn't like them. He doesn't want them to have influence. And I'm sure he'll fight against them in 2018. He'd love to have those guys gone.
Oh, sure. He'll stand against anybody who fights against him.
Yeah, it's tough because, I mean, I think, you think that this is the whole point, right? I mean, we used to think that conservatives got into office and try to do the most conservative thing they could get away with. And it was frustrating to conservatives because we'd say, well, why are you trying to just, cut short the conservative ideal? And why not just go for it, right? Like, I mean, just go for it. And instead, what we find out is that's not their ideal at all.
No.
They never had that ideal. That was not the thing. It wasn't because they felt like they were pushed around by the media or they'd get too much heat from the press, and so they didn't go for the real conservative thing. They never wanted it, with the exception of the Freedom Caucus.
Yes.
And now they're the targets of not only the left, which they've been forever, but now also much of the right.
What kills me is how many people said they wanted the government burned down to the ground. I just want to burn the system down. I'm so tired of these people who get in and lie. And Donald Trump's going to be able to take care of those guys. Well, why? Why do you think that? Because Daddy carries a big stick. He can say things and do things that nobody else could do. He's going to get this done, and he'll burn the whole system down to the ground. Well, what you don't understand is what we talked about before. He's not burning the system down. He's going to burn the people out that were the constitutionalists. And that's what he's doing. He has co-opted the system and gotten the system to stand with him. And how did he do it? Well, all you have to do is take Mitch McConnell's wife and make her the Secretary of Transportation. Now you're going to get your support for your stimulus package. I mean, he is working the system. As we said before, he kept saying, who better to destroy the system than the guy who used the system?
The outsider.
If you tell me what your pivot point was when you discovered that the system wasn't good, but the system always worked in your favor because you knew how to play it. So you're just learning how to play it again, and you're playing the system to work in your favor, not in the favor of the Constitution, but your favor.
Well, I mean, that's what Justin Amash tweeted in response to the attack from, because Trump said, hey, the Freedom Caucus, we're going to come after them in 2018. Again, this is his own party. Remember when people said that about Trump? We're going to come up with a third party candidate to go the other way. Remember how he reacted to that? This is the Republican president attacking elected members of his own party, saying he's going to primary them. I mean, I can't remember ever hearing a president publicly do that, though it's certainly possible. But Justin Amash responded and said, it didn't take long for the swamp to drain real Donald Trump. No shame, Mr. President. Almost everyone succumbs to the D.C. establishment. And man, it's happened fast here. Yeah. It's happened fast, hasn't it?
And can you imagine if this is any other Republican president saying now he's going to turn his back on the Republicans and now work with Democrats? There would be outrage from every quarter.
And that's the stuff they accused a former, like George W. Bush, for example.
Yeah.
A lot of the audience would say, hey, look at him. He's working with the Democrats. He's going across the line. He wasn't saying he was going to do it, but they were accusing him of doing it. And sometimes it was true. Here, he's just saying, yeah, I'm going to do it.
Yeah,
even Paul Ryan's like, I don't know if we want to work with the Democrats on this. Even Paul Ryan. It's uncomfortable.
You don't want to work with Democrats on health care. They're the ones that came up with this nonsense in the first place.
I mean, first of all, the health care package, and this is the craziest, only 17% approved that thing.
Yeah.
That had only 17% approval. I mean, how do you expect to gain any support? Your policy itself, no one was for. There is no support there. And you just think you can bully your way through. Yep. And I really think, and this is why I think Ivanka, which I have a real problem. I mean, Ivanka, I'm sure she is nice. I'm sure she is smart and everything else.
The problem is she's liberal. That's the problem.
Right. Well, and also his daughter.
Well, he trusts everything she says.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. We didn't elect the family.
I know.
So I don't care. However, to your point, she is very liberal.
Yeah.
And why is she
everybody knows it.
Right. Why is she brought in now? Because he's moving in that direction. Mm-hmm. She's not going to help temper him with the Freedom Caucus. She's going to start tempering him and moving him in the direction of working with the Democrats.
And so is her husband, and he's got them both as close advisors.
If you want to, look at this the best possible way for Trump, you could say, well, number one, he's not going to primary these people. He's not going to go after them. He's just threatening them to get in line because this is his way of negotiating. And, he's going to come after them hard because he knows he can switch them. And a legitimate threat to a Freedom Caucus member is, I'm going to work with the Democrats. He's not actually going to work with the Democrats. He's just saying that to, manipulate the Freedom Caucus into voting his way. If you want to look at it the best possible way, maybe he's doing that. And maybe it will work. Though, as we've seen, the Freedom Caucus, Justin Amash isn't going to just bend to you because you're Donald Trump. He doesn't care. He was elected by voters himself. He was also winning elections while Trump was winning elections.
He was also primaried by the Republicans.
Yeah, and he doesn't
He doesn't care.
He strikes me as a guy who, if he loses this gig, he loses this gig.
I really like him.
I do too. And, you know, a lot of these guys, like we have Mo Brooks coming up next hour, who is, you know, a famous economist, to me at least. A very famous economist.
We were looking at reverting into a depression at that point. Everyone, the Fed chairman.
I disagree that we were going into a depression, but go ahead.
Do you have a degree in economics?
Yes, ma'am, I do. Highest honors.
Okay, so
Highest honors.
The greatest clip of all time.
Yeah.
But
Should have just shut down MSNBC. That was it.
that was it, man.
Yeah, they should have just locked it. Highest honor. Not just that I have a degree.
Yeah,
highest
highest
honors. I love that.
But he'll be coming up with us. He's in the Freedom Caucus as well. He also is the target of this. I mean, he's the target. I want to see how he reacts to it. Because these guys don't tend to be pushed around. The reason why you join the Freedom Caucus is because you're not going to be pushed around. If you're going to be pushed around, you can be any other member of the Republican Party. That's easy. That's the easy place. You can get pushed around. You can vote for anything that leadership recommends.